Sorry. Welcome to On Angel Wings. This is a show where we inform about the archangels and bring out a little more information for you to get more familiar with them, to work with their energy, to know maybe if it's one angel or another that's appearing to you to work with you. And today we are going to learn more about Archangel Cassielle. I want to introduce my co-host, Christina Leftwich. Hi, Christina.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Christina.
We have a wonderful family that has gathered here together to understand more about the angel. And then we will go offline after the teaching. Well, after the teaching, we'll do a short meditation to guide you into the Cassielle's energy. And then we'll go offline and we'll have a discussion. So stay with us even after we go off the air. If there's anyone that wants to join into the Zoom, the link is like everywhere. It's in the Angelic River family. It's in Enlightened World Network. And I think it's even on Angel Speakers, Teri Angel. So if you can't find it, just send a message and hopefully somebody will be able to get you the link so you can come in and be with us on Zoom. We also have Dr. Ruth Anderson standing by, who will help us to understand Cassielle's energy a little more, because Ruth has been working with this angel for a while. So Christina is going to start by sharing information about Cassielle, and then we'll jump in and hopefully share our experience with Cassielle, and we can all get to know him just a little bit more. If you have questions as we go along and we are presenting this information, feel free to type them into the chat here on Zoom, or if you're watching virtually, type it into the comment section on Facebook Live or YouTube or Pinterest. Not Pinterest. Where are we? Periscope. Sorry. I'm all over the place today. So I'm just going to ask Christina if she will start filling us in some about Archangel Cassielle.
I sure will. And I'd just like to thank Dr. Ruth Anderson, for coming in as well. I was certainly not as familiar with this angel as I am with some of the others. So I'm very glad that we're working as a team with this, because I really learned a lot. So I'll just give you some of the basics. Archangel Cassiel, the name Cassiel actually stands for speed of God. But oftentimes she is associated as the angel of isolation and grief, or isolation and tears. Actually, she wears so many hats, I couldn't pick just one. Oftentimes, this angel is very much considered an observer or watcher of what goes on with humanity. He functions at a level where he's concerned for humanity as a whole, more so than maybe some of the angels, where they're able to come in. Of course, it's all done with the greater good in mind and in the divine plan. But Cassielle is a loner herself. She stays to herself, not even really interacting with the other angels very much. At least that's what I was able to dig up. I also read something I found very interesting, that she may be the only angel that is thought to have actually felt and developed human emotions on a level that could be felt as an angel in the same way that we as humans can feel, giving her a very different insight as to how it really feels to be human. She's known to help with protection around your home, property, farms, and farmers. She's often associated with as well. So this was something that resonated with me, was if something happens and you want to be at the right time, at the right place, this would be another angel that would be able to assist that on a grand scheme. Like if you wanted, but you know how sometimes you think, oh, if only all of the planets would align just so, and you know, the skies opened up with brilliant sunlight and blah blah. This is the angel that would might actually be able to have that happen on the grand scale. She's associated with the planet Saturn, and the day of the week for her is Saturday. To work with this angel, sometimes you could use the aid of obsidian or black tourmaline. And the astrological sign associated with her is Virgo. She's very much considered a balancer of extremes. She's able to see two very different sides of any story at one time. She sees the whole story. And an interesting thing that I read from one observer who has worked with her much more than I was that she may actually have a better idea of the grand plan than even Metatron does. But because she is such an observer and watcher, as opposed to participating directly with us, we don't see her so much on that level. But interestingly enough, she's also in some more thought to be the gatekeeper, so to speak, to the seventh dimension, which some religions refer to as heaven. So that idea that she's able to straddle both the conscious field and what happens in the spiritual field, or on an unconscious level and conscious level when we're trying to meditate. She has that ability of being in two places at once. So you may even see artwork depicting Archangel Cassiel with 1 foot in water and 1 foot on land. And that is to symbolize that ability to straddle two dimensions or two fields at any given time. So if you are feeling lonely or isolated, and we had talked about this before we came on air, how fitting it is that Cassiel will show up right now when we are certainly within these feelings of isolation and feeling alone and not being able to connect. Cassiel will often remind us in these moments that we are enough by ourselves, and the divine light that is within us each is enough. And that even through the sorrow and the loneliness that we are in, the isolation, she will help show us the way to happiness and joy. Even in that darker moment, she's able to do that, to see that other side and find that, you know, sometimes we want to run away from tears instead of seeing the true meaning that's in those tears. So she reminds us not to push some of those tears and feelings of isolation. Don't necessarily run away from it like you might instinctually think that you have to do. Find in that moment that lesson to learn. And that's, I think, what the difference for me is with Cassiel, as opposed to some of the others. Yes, she's there for support, and I never felt like she wasn't supportive when I was researching her more. But, you know, sometimes you can say, here, Raphael, take this from me and deal with it. Or my guardian angels, take this from me and deal with it. Whereas she has the way of saying, no, you're going to deal with it, and you're going to deal with it with grace. And you're going to deal with it with knowing, you know, she doesn't, you have to look at what is happening. She doesn't let you run away, and she doesn't necessarily take any of that excess from you as so much as just giving you like the hurrah, you can do this kind of a thing, but you're going to have to do it, and you're going to have to do it on your own and in your own way. So I think I'm going to kind of open this up now back to Teri and Ruth and just see, because I'm kind of more in the realm now of my experience, and it's not very much, and I would love to hear your expansion on some of this.
Well, I just wanted to make a comment, and I would really love for Ruth to share with us, because Ruth has actually been working with Cassiel, knowing the energy of Cassiel more than I have. I know that I've been exposed to Cassiel's energy, but didn't really get to know everything about that angel and the flavor. But I think it's interesting, Christina, as I was listening to you, and there were sometimes when you would come out with he and sometimes she. Yeah. And this is the beauty of our angels. They really don't have a gender, but how they appear to us is how we're going to resonate with them. So they could come as that soft, gentle energy, especially if we're dealing with isolation and grief, which is what Cassiel really embraces and helps us. And I really appreciate you sharing that Cassiel understands what we're going through and understands those feelings. And yes, I've understood that sometimes Cassiel is called the angel of tears, because there's that real deep understanding about our emotions on that human level. And many times Cassiel appears in different ways. You know, sometimes when I see Michael, Archangel Michael, I know it's Michael. It's like, you know, there he is, always the same, never changing as far as how I see him. But Cassiel, there's different parts to him. And that's what I'm asking for Ruth to share her experience, because yeah, it's very interesting working with this particular angel.
First of all, Christina, you did a beautiful job summing that up. So well done, my dear, well done. And somebody asked, how do you spell Cassiel? I spell it Cassiel. And when I first was introduced to Archangel Cassiel, I had no idea I was being introduced to Archangel Cassiel. I was in my dining room, and in meditation, I had been called into my dining room in meditation. So I went and I sat at the table, and it started feeling like a board table, like a board room. And I'm feeling, because my eyes are closed and I can sort of feel different entities around this table. And I'm thinking, okay, I know Michael and I know Raphael. Who is this, right? And so in my mind's eye, I see this being, and I always check in with Archangel Michael. Archangel Michael, am I supposed to pay attention to this one who's here? And the answer was yes. I thought, okay, fine. So I kind of sat with it. And it was fascinating to me, because as I was watching this one in my mind's eye, when I look at the archangels, I don't normally get faces. I don't normally get real detailed faces. Cassiel is very different, because with Cassiel, I get many different faces. And it's like a slideshow that's coming over. And I'll look at Cassiel, and I might get an old white woman. And then about a minute, or not even a minute, it might be like half a minute, 30 seconds, I get a new face coming on. And it might be a teenage Indian young man. And then 30 seconds later, I'll get an African-American baby. I mean, it's just this rotating different faces. And I realized it represents all of humanity. And so times when I'm working on a project that I'm supposed to go far and wide and try to reach as many people as possible, Archangel Cassiel will come in and show me that. I'm getting goosebumps. Yeah. And so I always know when that's the case that there's somebody somewhere that needs to hear what it is that I'm supposed to be presenting. So that's how Archangel Cassiel came in. And I was feeling that as masculine energy. And then when we started working with the Angelic Gems, Archangel Raphael had shown me this clearing and healing modality, which we call the Angelic Gems. And I was shown 12 different beings, and each one representing different kind of healing or clearing. And one of them was represented by the color pink, and it was Archangel Cassiel. But in that frame, it's very feminine energy. And we were told that it, when we're working with the color pink with the gems, it clears grief and isolation, feelings of grief and isolation. And it's definitely Archangel Cassiel. So Teri and I, in silent meditation Sunday morning, we were directed or guided, sounds kinder, guided to help support people get through processing of 2020. Because in order to be ready for 2021, we got to clear out a whole bunch of stuff that came and hit us in 2020. And Archangel Cassiel was there, and we were told very specifically, we're not doing a spiritual bypass on this one. We're not asking the angels to save us from feeling those feelings. Nope, our job was to get in there, dig in deep, and feel those feelings. And only when you feel them can you then release them. And we know from doing the work just on Sunday that Archangel Cassiel is so brilliant at helping us transmute those feelings and then transform those feelings. And when you said, Christina, that Archangel Cassiel helps us to, move out the energy and go to a higher place, it's because it's transmuted before it can be transformed. So you nailed Archangel Cassiel beautifully. And Teri, I don't know, I can feel Archangel Cassiel just like right here.
Absolutely.
Line and sinker.
Absolutely.
But the thing that's cracking me up is I'm seeing Archangel Cassiel wearing a kilt right now. No idea, but I mean, very proud, like Scottish man in a kilt. So I think we got all the bases covered right there.
I think so. I just love how it's like a chameleon. Yeah, that's how I feel about Cassiel, because I've seen so many different sides and the energies, but that energy of pink, that's what comes through. And anytime that I'm working with Cassiel's energy, I just get this burst of pink that surrounds me. And I associate pink most of the time. And this is where I need to really figure out if it's Cassiel or is this Kuan Yin coming in? Because Kuan Yin, when she comes in with all that love and compassion, I'm surrounded with pink energy. So there's many times when I had to just stop and say, oh, is that Cassiel? Or is that my beautiful Kuan Yin coming in to pour love and compassion into the heart? They both do. So I think they're working very much in conjunction. I wanted to see what somebody mentioned in the chat.
So does Divine Mother, I think, as well, in that mix, in that pink, in the pink crowd. I often get the Divine Mother as well in that crowd. So
I had a really cool thing the other day. I was driving over to meet Teri, and as I'm driving, one of my eyes in the peripheral vision, bottom quarter, everything turned pink. And as I'm driving, I'm seeing all of this pink, and I'm thinking, boy, is that somehow Archangel Cassiel, like I'm starting to get a deeper connection where I can see that overlay. I don't know, I can't wait to see where that goes, but I do know it has to do with Cassiel. But to me, the difference between Kuan Yin and Cassiel, Kuan Yin meets you where you are, right? She just meets you where you are. And Cassiel gets in there and goes, how are you feeling? Let's purge this. Let's work on this. It's work when you're with Cassiel. It's not the Kuan Yin feel good hug. So to me, that's the difference.
Yeah, I believe it is, because she was more of, she wanted to get in there and fix whatever was going on. So it's like, I'm just going to pour love into it, because love is the energy that heals and that creates that healing energy inside of you. So Cassiel is like, All right, you're going to do your work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think if she
I'll
doesn't,
face.
yeah, well, she knows time is of the essence. She doesn't waste time. I
Right.
think she's kind of the time lord in some ways,
Mhm.
where she's not supposed to mess around too much and let you do, and that's what I mean by I think I got the feeling she might know the bigger picture even more so than even Metatron knows, and only kind of swoops in. I don't know. I will admit to everyone here, I mean, honestly, this was quite a new experience for me. And I was a little relieved because I was like, boy, I don't know anything about this, Cassielle. I mean, I have been so involved with the angels for so long. How could I not know about Cassielle? And then the very first thing I see is that she's a loner.
Mhm.
And he likes to work in isolation, and I'm like, oh, well, no wonder maybe I don't have that close tied connection that just made total sense to me. And I'd just like to share an affirmation, actually, that for whatever reason, this particular affirmation really kind of struck a note with me with this angel. And that affirmation, in my solitude, I find happiness and comfort. And I just would like to share that because that kind of hit me, that especially with the times that we are in right now, that particular very simple, easy to remember affirmation, just in my solitude, I find happiness and peace. That's, and just a reminder out there that I just wanted to share that before we went into meditation.
Thank you, Christina. And that makes so much sense. And it goes back to our perspective. We can be in our solitude and feel lonely and feel, angry that we're isolated, that we can't touch and be around others right now, or be in that lockdown state. Or we can be in isolation and really go inward and do some deep diving and getting to know ourselves a little bit better. So it's all perspective. And I love that affirmation that you read. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I wanted to share, Sophia, who's with us, said, I was wearing green and then I was drawn to wear pink. And I subconsciously put pink on today. I didn't even think about it. I just knew I wanted to wear this today. And then
You
all of a
did
sudden,
too. Look at how many of us actually showed up with pink on. Gabby was wearing pink, or not pink, but some form of like mine's more of a maroonish color, but I noticed Gabby did too.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Pink.
Mary Lou wore pink. Yeah. Awesome. I love it. And Gabby says, yes, same as you. So yeah, there's never an accident or a coincidence when something like that happens. We're always being guided. There's always that subconscious knowledge of how we're being communicated with from the angels. So don't be surprised if something happens and then all of a sudden it's just exactly what was needed at that moment, or something that's going to help you get a little closer to the energy, maybe of an angel or an ascended master or whoever you're working with that particular time. And Tanya says guided. Yes, the color for sure. Let's see if I can get the whole comment here. But even for those of us who could make it here tonight, live or the replay. Yeah, the color, I think what happens is color has an energy associated with it, and it is sacred geometry. If you've ever worked with color on, what's my word? In the IT realm, where things are programmed in to be a certain way, color has to be programmed in. It has numbers and letters associated with each color to make it appear in that way. That's sacred geometry. And Ruth and I were talking, I think it was just yesterday, about people that have had near-death experiences and they come back and they explain the color. They're like, you would not believe there's colors that we can't even imagine here in the 3D realm. There is just so much more than what we can experience here in the human form. So color comes from that sixth dimension of sacred geometry. And there's so much that can be created. It's infinite possibilities that any color imaginable can be created from numbers. Okay. We're getting into some comments here, but we need to get into our meditation time so that we can then go offline, and then we'll deal with any questions that have come up during the discussion and any other questions that come up when we go into our private time to discuss Cassielle or angels or whatever spiritual you want to talk about in that time. If there's anyone watching remotely that would like to join us for that discussion, just please, if you can't find the link, just let us know and we'll make sure that you have that. I want to say hello to everybody that's jumping on virtually. Wendy is with us, Robert Painley, Melanie Garnier, I think that's how you say her name. And she says, interesting that I asked Ruth about Cassielle today. There's no coincidences ever. So true. And Galia is here with us, and Carol Ann Allen, and Hope Wellington Marshall. So welcome everybody that's jumping in and learning more about this beautiful Archangel Cassielle. And we want you to really experience Cassielle's energy. And Maria Cefalo came on and said hi. So let's do a short meditation. It won't be long at all, but we want you to really experience Cassielle. Ruth has been downloaded some energy work, and it has to do with color. It's called the Angelic Gems, and Cassielle is one of those angels that works with this. The energy that came through and the color is pink. These are one of the cards. This is one of the cards. I can use proper grammar when I want to. So I want you to focus on pink. And Cassielle works with us on grief and on isolation, which is, as we said before, so appropriate at this time of year. We're coming up on the end of a year that was so full of this, wasn't it? There was so much loss this year. There was so much isolation this year. So let's go into our heart center. I want you to just take a breath in, close your eyes if you can safely do that, and just take a breath into your heart center. And let's invite Cassielle in. As you are focusing on your breath, just fill up your lungs completely and relax that energy back out. And continue to breathe slowly. We're going to invite Archangel Cassielle. And ever how Cassielle appears to you, that is the perfect way that he or she will show up. Whatever form you see this angel as, maybe you will see a face, maybe you'll just see the energy or feel the energy. I want you to focus on pink. Just let that color come to you. It might come in strongly through your crown chakra. It might show up somewhere else in one of the other chakras and just come in with a burst of that pink energy. Just allow whatever experience happens to happen. And take another breath in. Let's just sit with Cassielle for a moment, asking to be surrounded by this beautiful energy. And if you feel some emotion that starts to come up as you're focusing on Cassiel, you're focusing on the energy of pink, there may be some emotion that comes to you in one part of your body. Just allow that to bubble up. Just envision that you're seeing the bubbles like you would see in a fish tank. Just let it happen. Let it bubble up inside of you. And watch those bubbles as they come forward. They rise higher. And allow them to come out. Wherever they're exiting, whether it's your crown chakra, they're coming out with your out breath. Just release that energy. And Cassiel may be showing you where that's coming from. It may be some grief over a loss, whether it's the loss of a loved one that has left their physical body and you're in that grief process, or maybe it's just the isolation and the separation from others that we're not able to see physically right now. Cassiel will help make this clear to you where that energy's at in your body. And then once that's uncovered and it's very clear, just make that conscious decision to release. And release can happen in many ways. As you watch the bubbles come forward, you may feel like you need to cough. You may feel like you need to cry and release in that way. Whatever happens is perfect for you. There is no right or wrong. There's nothing that says that you have to express grief in one way or another. You may feel some anger. Anger is a part of grief, and it's an emotion that helps propel you forward. It motivates you into an action. So breathe in again and go to that emotion that you're feeling inside. Allow that pink energy to surround you, knowing that you're safe to do your work here. And I'm sensing so much bubbling up of emotion right now. I'm feeling lots of hearts that have carried such heaviness through this year. Not just from the isolation, but from just the experience we've all been through on such a huge scale. This was global, what we experienced this year. There's a lot of compassion for other people who have experienced the illness, people who have lost their loved ones. Allow that heaviness to start to bubble upward. And if your bubbles are pink, that's okay. If there's some other color or if they're clear, whatever your experience is the way it's supposed to be for you. Sit with this beautiful angel as you do this work. Ask Cassiel to please help to release all that energy, or at least to start breaking it loose. Sometimes it's compacted in there. We just pour emotion after emotion and don't look at it and don't work with it. It's time to work with it. We don't want to hold on to this heaviness as we end this year to go into a new year. The timing is perfect for Cassiel to work with us right now, to help us release, to help us understand that it's okay to look at these emotions. It's okay to feel these emotions. I'm feeling so much grief going on. It's a really heavy feeling. When I feel into the collective energy, there's a lot of grief, There's a lot of anger. A lot of fear. Yes. Anxiety. I'm hearing resignation. Like, will this ever end? Can we have hope that things will be different? Let's open up to that. Allow it. Don't feel guilty or don't feel bad for any thought that you have, for any emotion that's coming up. Just allow it to bubble up inside of you. And if you're not ready to do this work, if you're not ready to let go, don't feel bad about that either. Just allow yourself the time that you need to do it. And maybe it will be in your alone time. Maybe it will be when you're sitting in your meditation and you can call in this beautiful angel. You can focus on this color and just allow that to happen while you're by yourself. Maybe you need time to release the energy, to let it come out in tears or screaming into a pillow or whatever you need to do to release it. But you're being encouraged right now to at least start thinking of the process of release if you're unable to do it in this moment. And those of you that are letting those bubbles rise, I see so many bubbles coming up. There's little bubbles and there's big bubbles and everything in between. And I just see the air being filled with all of that right now. And that letting go process is so freeing. Just take a breath in and feel your energy and see if there's a new freedom about you. If you did the work, if you let go. And there's somebody that needs to hear that you are not alone. You're not alone. You are so surrounded by love. You are so lifted up. And feel other angels that are coming in, surrounding those that are grieving, those that are deciding that it's time to let go of some of the emotion. If you feel an angel's touch right now, that's them surrounding you to help you to let go, to give you that hug that you so crave, that touch that we have been without for so long now. Just allow it. We're going to take just another moment just to sit in the energy of Cassiel, in the energy of pink. And if there's more in there that you need to release, just allow it to come forward. I just saw all the angels that had come in for comforting, to share love, and to hold all of us. I see them all now, just standing up, holding space, and saying, well done, that you opened up to possibility. You've opened up to letting go and to releasing. And I feel so many that have a different energy, a lighter energy, but I still feel some constriction in the hearts of some. Some of you are holding on, and it's okay. Just know that it's okay. When you're ready to release that energy, you will. And we're right here. We're not going anywhere. Anytime you want to sit, and if you need somebody to hold your hand while you do that, please reach out. We're always here. We're always willing to surround you with love and to surround you with support. Just take a big breath in and start to come back now to where you are. And thank you. I want to thank Archangel Cassielle for being with us today. I want to thank Christina for the absolutely marvelous job that you did in introducing this angel to us. And Dr. Ruth Anderson, I'm so happy that you were here with us today and gave us some insight into this beautiful angel. And all of you, I'm so honored that you are here, that you showed up. You showed up and you said, I'm going to learn more about an angel today, and have that excitement about it. And thank you. I'm so proud of you for doing the work of release, for letting go and letting this angel hold your hand while you did that important work. Those of you that are online with us, thank you for being with us. We're going to go off the air at this point, and we're going to hold a discussion. If you'd like to come in with us, please come in with us. We would love to see you. And much love to all of you that joined in. We're here every Monday at this time to do On Angel Wings, and we talk about a different angel every week. So many blessings to all of you, those of you with us online and those of you that are with us virtually. Have a blessed rest of your day, and happy holidays to you this week. Merry Christmas to those of you who celebrate Christmas. We love you.